In the kitchen trash, I discovered torn up pieces of a Plan B box that my wife shouldn't have needed to use as an emergency backup. As I had a vasectomy contraception a decade ago, I was at a loss for words and was not sure what to do. Due to the fact that I never expected, I had to deal with this. I'm attempting to maintain my composure and consider all options, but I'm really falling short here. Well, the story starts as I met my wife on Tinder almost towards the end of 2015. We discovered that we had a lot in common. We both participated in the same sports. We shared the love of the same books, and also on social and political issues, we concurred. More important than anything else, we both individuals opposed the idea of having kids. Heavy subjects for a first date? I'm aware of that, right? We were talking non-stop since the day first, and before we realized it, we were having our fifth date, which was well ahead of the curve. I waited until the third to tell her about my vasectomy, and her first reaction was one of shock, saying she couldn't believe a young man would get one. She then complimented me for my conviction about not wanting children. We dated and had a great time, dating with plenty of heated arguments, and we eventually settled down with a large wedding and a large house. Since getting married, our relationship had only gotten better. The first time I ever had any real doubts about our relationship was 4 nights ago, when my wife was out with a friend and I was doing some housework. I was throwing away a semi-large garbage that can fit into bags, and I took a few things out of the kitchen garbage bag to make everything fit into 2. At the bottom, I saw a light purple box with half of a lowercase and an uppercase B were visible. I immediately knew what it was. Later, she informed me that she was on her period. I thought the timing was strange because a previous period had ended just a few weeks earlier. She responded that it was normal for women to go through periods, so I decided to put the matter to rest, as I haven't told her that I found the box though. When she arrived home that evening, everything was as usual. I tried to assess her mood and see if she was trying to hide anything, but I was unable to do so. As time passed, this issue remained inside of me. More scenarios began to form in my mind. For example, what if she was attacked? What if she brought the box of injured objects here to dispose of them? What if she suddenly felt pregnant? Or what if she simply cheated? I don't even know how to ask her or bring it up because we had both expressed adamantly that cheating is ridiculous, because if you're dissatisfied in a relationship to the point of being unfaithful, you should just leave. And I had nothing to offend her, at the very least. My greatest hope was that she might have torn up a Plan B box and thrown it into the garbage because it was old, or maybe it was before we even met. Clinging to that, I handwritten a flowchart of all the possible directions our conversation could go, because I'm awful, but I haven't had the time or the heart to do so. When she came into the living room after coming back from the gym, I caught her there and asked her the following question, since I had practiced what I would say in the answer and what I would do. Hello, I make no accusations against you, but could you perhaps explain why there was a torn up page? When I said Plan B, she immediately seemed like she had been punched in the stomach. I threw the Plan B box in the trash. She was completely speechless at that point, which I already knew. I maintained eye contact and asked why there was a torn up Plan B box in the trash, given that I had a vasectomy. Instead of responding, she just mouthed, "Breathed," stared at the ground, and began weakly sobbing. She was not on the flute shot, and I was at a loss for words. I thought that if I let her cry it out for a while, she might give me a real reason. Then she yelled at me, "Just tell me why you have to be so mean. If you don't trust me, this marriage is already doomed. So screw you for not trusting me." She kept saying the same thing to me until I was instructed to leave the house. I refused and said that until she was honest with me about why the box was there, I wasn't going to budge an inch. She then told me that either I had to leave or she would leave because I doubt she had nowhere to stay because her parents don't live close by. I agreed to leave so that we could calm down and talk like adults. Later, I went to my best friend's house, where this man who was the best man at my wedding lived. We talked about everything. I have not returned to her and we haven't spoken for more than 2 weeks. I currently have a consultation with the lawyer scheduled for this afternoon. The lawyer will probably tell me I'm in trouble, and I have to learn to trust her completely before she would let me go back home. If I couldn't do all 3 of the aforementioned, she was done with me. And she'll probably be right, but the thought of ever entering that house again makes me sick to my stomach. There isn't anything my wife could say to save this marriage, because I'm completely oblivious to what she's doing, who she is with, or anything else even remotely connected to her. None of my family members are aware of what happened because to them, we are still the happy newlyweds. I'm waiting to speak until I'm composed and logical. The fact that she jumped right to the "you don't trust me" response speaks for itself. If she had nothing to hide, she should have simply explained the reasoning behind Plan B being thrown out before, perhaps discussing being disappointed in you for not trusting her. I am sorry for how things turned out, but think of it as a blessing that you no longer have to waste an hour on this. She's only angry because she was caught, not because you did anything wrong. This got me. It was exactly the same response my ex had when I told her I had seen some messages pop up on her iPad. Now, it may not have been the best course of action, but it sounds like I'll be doing it for my emotional health instead. The proper action without a divorce.